Well, thank you so much for helping with my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm Vishwajeeth. I'm from India. I'm living in Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Um, I started liking space when I was third standard. So I read a book called Space Encyclopedia, so it inspired me. And during the Chandrayaan 2 launch, it inspired me much more that I started building my own rockets.
Oh, tell me about the rockets you've built.
I have made many rockets. Most of them failed, but a few, only one have launched successfully and a few engine tests. So the latest rocket I bought from Amazon and I launched with the parachute actually opened in mid-flight, which caused it to rotate and it fell down.
And I see you have some rockets on the board behind you as well. You have the Saturn V, and is that a Starship over there or a Falcon 9?
The Starship Falcon 9 and Blue Origin's New Shepard. Then over here you can see Virgin Galactic Spaceship 1. Over Soyuz, Saturn, and Space Shuttle.
This looks really neat.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, have you visited the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO?
I have not visited, but I'm planning to visit in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to visit there someday too.
Yeah.
So what got you into space? What made you interested in rockets?
So the Chandrayaan 2 launch was really inspired me to go into space. I read that Space Encyclopedia. I thought I could keep it as a hobby, but soon it developed, and now I want to start a space company like Elon Musk.
That would be fantastic. So what would your space company do?
I'm planning of a rocket. The weather balloons, right? Underside of a weather balloon, where a rocket strapped to it. So it will be filled with helium, and once it reaches a particular altitude, the rocket will be released, and so we don't need a first stage. So the second stage alone can propel the satellite into orbit.
That sounds interesting. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I haven't planned anything for that. I just made the idea. I was actually designing a flash animation on that. I haven't started yet, but I have made that animation, that elements.
Do you have any interest in building like habitats on the moon and Mars and in space and space stations and things like that?
When I grow up, I want to build a Mars base.
Have you thought about what your Mars base would be like?
No, I haven't thought about
it. So are some of the people at your school also interested in rockets, or
no, I'm the only one.
You're the only one? But I imagine they'd like to watch you launch them. That must be very exciting, right?
Yes.
So what do you think about us going back to the moon in 2024, 2025?
I actually feel very happy about that, that I can actually see that launch in person if I get a chance. So I have been following the Starship program so closely lately. So I think it's for a better future.
Now, some people think that, why are we sending people to space whenever we have problems here on Earth? How do you think about that?
But if our astronaut comes and hits us, we need to go somewhere and survive, right? So we need to practice going into space and living on other planets to survive.
Yeah, it definitely would be good to have humanity spread out in multiple places that if for not only survival but just to explore and to learn as
Yeah.
well. Um, but are there other good reasons to go out to space besides asteroids?
Actually, we can learn a lot more, and if we find extraterrestrials, so we can even communicate with them, and they can help us to grow and grow our technologies, etc.
Do you think you'll get a chance to go to space?
Yeah,
And how far do you want to go?
I want to go to Mars.
Would you consider going further than Mars?
It will take longer time in space. Going to Mars actually takes a whole 6 9 month trip to just go to Mars. So other places would be so far.
That's true. That's true. Do you think humanity will ever make it to the next star system? Actually go outside of the solar system and go to a whole different star?
It might take 100,000 years, but I think they will go. Will go.
Wow, 100,000 years. I think that's like 20 times more than all of recorded history.
Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest opportunities for humanity today?
Being alive in the Starship and Artemis generation. It's so great to see. I would actually wake up all the night to see Starship launches. I'd be awake all the night to see Starship launches like still number 8, 9, 10, 15.
And what do you think the biggest challenges are today?
The most biggest challenge is that time. It takes so long that the radiation affects us and it can grow cancer in our body.
Has your interest in rockets also affected what you study? Like, have you started learning things that you wouldn't have learned otherwise?
No, but I want to study in IISSP college when I go to college.
And yeah, have you also thought about putting some payloads on your rocket? Like something to measure how high it goes, or
I'm actually planning to launch a satellite before December 2022 or 2023. I'm planning to make a satellite and launch it myself.
hmm. And if there were other people who were wanting to get into rocketry and they didn't know anything, what would you suggest they do?
I teach them things and help them and show them many things that which would help them to be interested in space.
That's awesome. Well, those are pretty much the questions I had for you. Did you have any questions for me or anything you wanted to add?
How did you get interested in space?
Well, I mean, I think largely it comes back from my childhood. We used to watch Star Trek a lot. Have you seen Star Trek?
No,
So it was this story about the spaceship that would go from,
heard about it.
yeah, so it was fairly well watched whenever I was in middle school and high school, and it created this vision of humanity kind of coming together and exploring space together and meeting other civilizations, and I was always really inspired by that. So I wanted to see humanity. I mean, like whenever you consider how small the Earth is compared to the universe, we
Yeah.
really should get out there and learn more about it. So that's what interests me about it.
Uh, what do you think about the Saturn fight?
Could you say that one more time?
What do you think about the Saturn V rocket? The
The
program.
Saturn V? Well, I mean, it was an amazing accomplishment at the time. It's sad that we don't have similar heavy lift capability right now. But it was very expensive because you could only use it one time.
Yeah. Did you watch any launches in person?
I've seen one launch in person. You remember the Inspiration 4 launch, where
Yeah.
the four people? So the day before it launched, I was like, I really want to see it. So I flew from Houston to Florida. I saw that launch, and it was amazing. It was a nighttime launch. I mean, it was right after the sunset. And so while it's on the launch pad launching, it's like, it's all dark, and you can really see the thrust come out of the rocket. And then it went up, and it got high enough, and the sun had just set. So then the sun was illuminating the rocket and the gas in the sky, and it was amazing. It was a beautiful launch.
I too watched the Inspiration 4 launch, but it was early morning, like 5 o'clock at India. But I waked up at 4 o'clock and waited all the way till 5 o'clock.
Yeah, these rocket launches happen at all sorts of times. That one was very convenient for me, but inconvenient for you. But then there's other rocket launches that are the opposite direction.
Um, so I have a YouTube channel called Explore Space.
Oh, could you say one more time?
I have a YouTube channel called Explore Space.
Have I had a chance to explore space?
No, I have a YouTube channel called.
You have a YouTube channel called Explorer Space. Yes, that's awesome. What got you into making the YouTube channel? Like, what inspired you to do that?
Every astronaut channel.
And what are some of the things you hope to accomplish with your YouTube channel?
I want to spread it to all people so that they can also learn about space.
And there's people that are interested in space, and there's people that are interested in lots of other things. Do you have any ideas for making space more relevant or interesting to people who may not be interested in space? Like, any idea of tying things together?
Um, the one thing which amazed me and made me interested in space was Falcon 9. The way it landed just blew me out. Um, so I think reusable rockets will make it will make everyone interested in space.
Yeah, I think whenever people start seeing an impact on their lives, it'd have a big effect. I mean, being able to go from like India to the US in 30 minutes on a Starship, can have a big impact on people's lives, I think.
Yeah. Actually, from India to US, it would take 2 days and it would cost about 20 lakhs.
Yes,
So,
but with the Starship though, it'd cost about the same, well, a little bit more than that, but you'd be able to make the same trip in 30 minutes.
yeah. Um,
Which part of India are you in?
Tamil Nadu.
Okay, I had visited Bangalore one time, so not too far away.
Yeah. Bangalore is just near Tamil Nadu. Like you can go easily. Yeah.
That's neat. So do you know of any big missions that ISRO is doing soon?
For me, as a big mission, it's Gaganyaan. The upcoming mission, Gaganyaan, is to fruit space, right? and the RLV-TD, reusable launch vehicle. That these two only I know.
That's neat. I understand that ISRO was looking at having a human spaceflight program. Do you
Yeah.
know what kind of progress they've made on that?
Um, as for now, they have done inside about tests and actually the rocket which will be launching is GSLV Mark 3. It's the same rocket which launched Chandrayaan 2. So they have did many about tests and they have done parachute testing, like they dropped it from a high altitude. I think they're using thrusters like on the Soyuz and Blue Origin to safely land.
That's great. Well, what are some things that you hope to see or do?
Um, I wanted to be the first kid to go to space.
Yeah, I think Haley Arcano is the youngest person to go in space, and she was 29. So
Yeah,
you're 10. As long as you get in space in the next 19 years, you could beat that record.
yeah. Actually, I'm 12 now,
Oh,
and
12 now. Okay.
um, Blue Origin has recently launched Jeff Bezos and his brother Mark Bezos, and Oliver Damon. He's the youngest person now, 18 years old.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, there's some dispute though about is that suborbital flight really space versus going into orbit? That type of thing.
Yeah.
That's true. He was 18, but I think 29 is still the youngest for people who have orbited Earth, at least.
But I think Alan Shepard, he also flown a suborbital flight. So I think Damon is the youngest person to go to space.
That's true. Um, well, good deal. Do you look at astronomy at all? Like stars and the telescopes and that type of thing?
Many times the stargazing at my own terrace. But here in Chennai, it's so cloudy that I cannot even see lots of stars. Or there are only two stars available, and I could see, and that's it. Sometimes I used to see using binoculars on the moon so to spot different things. I spotted a crater which was near to the Apollo. I think it's Apollo 12. Apollo 12 landing site. I spotted a crater near to the Apollo 12 landing site using binoculars.
That is really neat. Um, yeah, so what do you think it would be like going to Mars? You mentioned you wanted to go to Mars. Have you thought about what that journey would be like and what you would experience?
Yeah, at first launch, I experienced lots of G forces pulling on me, but once I go into space, I can feel anti-gravity. During the course to Mars, it will be actually a little boring, but after going to Mars, I like to really see that sunset and sunrise on Mars.
Hmm. How do you think it would be different than seeing the sunrise or sunset on Earth?
Um, so on Earth it looks orangish color, but on Mars it would be like reddish color. The sunset rays would be in reddish color.
Hmm.
I
Well,
like to I would like to go to one of Mars moon.
yeah, Mars's moons are much, much smaller than ours.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time, and it's so exciting to hear about your rocket building and your interest in space, and your desire to go out there and be on the forefront of pushing humanity out into the rest of the universe. So it was really nice to get to connect with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I hope to stay in touch, and I'll have to check out your YouTube channel. I'll make sure I put a link to it on my website so other people can see it too.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you have a good rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Talk to you
bye.
later. Bye.